All right, in today's video, I'm gonna kind of continue along on this one-day documentary that I'm working on for the Art of Documentaries contest. And I wanna go over pre-production ideas as far as what I do for my documentaries like this. And so I'm gonna assume that you watched the previous video, you've chosen a good character for your documentary, and you are now working at, trying to get everything lined up before you actually go on the day of filming. And on a short documentary like this, the 2 to 8 minute mark, it's very important that you have all the shots selected and dialed in before you ever show up, because you have very little time to get the shots. You need to make sure that you walk away with everything that you need to tell a compelling story. So step number 1 is get on a phone call with your character. You have to make sure that your character and you are on the same page as far as which scenes are going to really tell this story properly. Now, for a story like this, you can't really dive into a whole bunch of detail. You really need to narrow down on one key factor that you're trying to focus on for your documentary. Let's say this film lands in the 6 to 8 minute mark. Let's say a scene, like an actual kind of verite scene or something that unfolds, is maybe a minute and a half. So you only have maybe 5, 6 different scenes that you can have in the film. So you need to make sure that those scenes are actually helping you to tell your beginning, middle, and end, to make sure that you have a compelling film by the time you're done. So you don't have unlimited time, you don't have unlimited scenes, so you need to be really picky about what you're actually filming. Next would be kind of like location scouting and planning your shots. And in this situation, I didn't have the time to get down there to actually do kind of a location scout at the character's home, kind of in his garage, which is like a weightlifting room, war room, kind of just hangout area. And so what I had my character do was actually just get on his cell phone and go through the space and take a video. What that does for me is tells me what light is available, what windows are there, which fixtures are there, how big the space is, where I can actually get equipment in there, where I can set up for different shots, what different angles may look good in there. And that's important. So just have your character take a quick cell phone video, even if it's not anything fancy, that'll at least give you a better idea of what you're walking into on the day instead of just walking in cold turkey. What I want to do now is work on the visual style. I want to figure out which references I'm going to be pulling to try to emulate or to use as inspiration for different shots in my film. And where I like to go for that is Shot Deck. You've probably heard of it before, but it's a wonderful website that actually has a bunch of different frames from thousands of different movies. It'll actually tell you everything you need to know as far as which angle, who the directors, cinematographers were, what it was shot with, was it anamorphic or spherical, what camera it was shot with, which lens it was shot with. This was shot with Hawk anamorphic. What I like to do here is allow my creativity to really just run wild. On these creative projects or these passion projects, you have full creative freedom. So this is where I feel is a good opportunity for you to kind of spread your wings a little bit as far as, getting creative looks or visual aesthetics. Shot Deck is a great way to get inspired. So one of my big inspirations for this, because it is a dark film, it's mostly going to be shot at night. It's kind of it's not really a dark theme, but it's kind of a brooding tone to it. A movie that immediately popped into my head because I'm shooting this in anamorphic. I want it to kind of be a grungy look, but it's the Batman. So what I've made is a deck, and what a deck is just a compilation of all the different shots that are inspiring to you. And this one isn't, and this one doesn't necessarily vibe with what I'm going for, but right here, these are different shots from the Batman that I feel would be a specific part in the film that I have. I really want to show eyes. I'm really wanting to show action, activity, space, details. Those are going to be important for my film. So taking these shots and putting them into a document or into a plan as far as I want a certain detail shot in my film. And this is kind of a visual reference for me. This is something I can look to and go, okay, I got pretty close to that. Or yeah, that I want to do this, but I want to do it this way. It's just kind of an inspiration. It's a reference point for you as a cinematographer. So what I like to do is I'll take all of these, I'll actually save them into a deck, and then I'll show you what I do with them here in a little bit. Next, this isn't necessarily the most important step, but it's something I really like to do. Music is something that really excites me and inspires me in my films. And so what I like to do is really pair these two things together, finding kind of the visuals while also listening for a potential score or a track. So what I like to use is actually MusicBed. For creative projects like this, I feel like MusicBed has just some of the most high quality music available. And so what I've done is I made a project playlist. You can go through, filter for different songs, search for similar, like I can choose this song right up here and then go down and find similar songs to it right down here. And, just keep diving down that little rabbit hole and you'll find songs that'll work really well. So like in this situation, I've got this song. And I really like to listen to the music while I'm kind of experiencing the visuals. And that'll really start to tell you what the tone of your film may end up being. Now, something that's important and something that I have fallen into many times is finding a song that's a little bit too cinematic or a little over the top for what your project is. And, I'm really going to try to refrain from putting music, wall to wall on this film. I want it to open silently, verite scenes are playing out, and then as the character moves into the action of the film, I want a fairly subtle, moody undertone. And, that's where, finding these ambient cinematic tones right here, looking at the different songs, looking at how they build, like this one right here is a pretty slow, quiet build. Same with this one. Skip into other parts. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so picturing where your music is going to come in your film is important. Don't overdo it with music. And like I said, I'm not married to those songs. Those are just songs that more than anything really help set the tone for the film. So I'll listen to this before I film, trying to put my mind in the right mood and the right headspace for this film. So now that I've found the visual references, I've got kind of music inspiration. I like to take those visual references and make a document on my phone, and I'll show you what I do. So what I like to do is actually create a note in my phone. There's a bunch of different shot deck or shot list apps that you can have, through different websites or apps. I have found what works best for me is actually just make a note in my phone. And on your phone, you can actually make a checklist. So I can actually go through and have a checklist item right here, mark off the exact shots that I've planned in my head, and know that I'm getting the shots that I need on the day. Right here, I like to add tones or notes up at the top, like at the home at the beginning of the film. I want to have tight, stable, locked off shots. I want to show details, eyes, and motion as we're moving into the action of the film. So I think it's important to have your notes, but then also to have your visual references, and that's where Shot Deck comes in. I take and download those different shots, airdrop them to my phone, and you can just drop them right in to your phone, right in the note, so you can have the visual reference right in front of you. Make sure that you got the shot. Yep, I got that. Got the detail that I needed right there. Move on. It's going to keep you efficient, fast, and nimble. And when you're a one-man band doc, even if you have 2 or 3 guys there, just having everything at your fingertips to make your day as easy as possible is so important on a short-form documentary like this. So what I've also learned is you have to have all your gear lined up. You need to have everything buttoned up and dialed in and tested and ready to go before the day of the doc. So in a future video, I will break down the equipment that I'm actually going to bring, the camera, the lenses, the audio equipment, the support gear, and how I approach kind of a one-man band doc like this, trying to keep it nimble, but also trying to make it as visually beautiful as possible. So I will have behind the scenes on this documentary. I have somebody lined up to be there, so I hope you're looking forward to that. I will have a full breakdown of what the day looked like. And then, like I said, I do plan on showing kind of a little bit of post-production, and then obviously you'll get to see the final film. So hope you're enjoying the series. Stick around because there's a lot more to come, and we'll see you in the next video.